when you look back, do you think you had a problem?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like woke up to a SWAT team with guns, like living with a coke dealer, like I got in trouble. I got fired for sexual harassment, like me doing I was a nightmare.
For real?
Yeah. By the way, reverse me
what
too.
Age did you,
so not to brag, but
hey, no. It's respect.
Like you're welcome, you know.
When did you start drinking? How old were you when you started drinking?
I mean, I started drinking like casually in college. Like it wasn't really a big deal. No.
Super young.
No. But then, I mean, it's like all over my family, you know, but then when I graduated college and I started working in the bars and the restaurants, and it was just like, oh, like you're just hanging out after work. And then it's like, oh, you're drunk every night. And then it's like, oh, pints of margaritas to go into wait tables, and then pints of watermelon margaritas to get you through the fucking shift of waiting on I used to wait tables on the rooftop bar of a hotel in Venice Beach, and I would just pound margaritas the whole time and then go home. I was living with a big Coke dealer, and we were just friends, but I was living with him for a while, and it was right while I don't know if it was the feds, but whoever was watching him. And I was taking a disco nap one day. We'd been partying all night, and I woke up and I heard some rustling, and I look over and he's face down on the floor, and there were 8 SWAT team guys with guns pointing at him, like out of Law and Order. And I was like, oh man, I'm so fucked up. That was well, I'm hallucinating. And then they hadn't seen me because I was asleep. And then when I woke up, I kind of moved, and they turned and saw me. And one guy came over, and I was like, oh my fucking God. And he's like, did you buy drugs from this man? I'm like, I don't buy drugs. I'm like, but what are you talking about? Okay. No. But he took my purse and he started ruffling through my purse. And I'm like, oh my God, please, 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 please. And at the time, I was weirdly enough on the Venice Neighborhood Council. I had been voted into council, even though I was a complete drunk, because they just wanted someone under 85 years old on it. And I didn't have drugs in my purse, and he let me go. He's like, take your purse, get out of here. And I was like, okay. And then that night I had to bail him out of jail. I had to chase down one of his clients for cash to bail him out of jail. And then I visited him in state prison a few weeks later. So
he went to prison.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was for real.
Really?
So while all this was happening, I was at the same time getting in trouble at work for sexual harassment. And I didn't have a car. My life was just those 2 square blocks. You know what I mean? I was drunk every day, doing coke all the time. I mean, it was just a nightmare. And my dad raised dictionaries. My mom's was an academic dean at Marymount School for Girls. I was raised to be the next Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean? I was not I went to the best girls' school in Boston. I was not I was given every opportunity to be an upstanding citizen. You know what I mean? And my mom couldn't understand what was going on because I hid it from her kind of, even though I was bloated and overweight and suicidal. But
sweet, you didn't look like you look today then?
No, I was 30 pounds heavier probably.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was ass and tits, but
it was ass and tits.
I mean, maybe it was better because honestly, that's the biggest transformation is C cup to an A cup. So finally, I moved out of the coke dealer's house because I was sitting there one night, and that was this was 2011. So I guess people still had answering machines. So someone called the house and the answering machine came on, and this guy left a message, and it was a Peruvian guy. And it was a threatening message. And I was just sitting there going oh God, this is actually really fucked up that I'm in this situation. I need to get out. So the next day I looked for an apartment. I found an apartment a couple blocks away, and I started seeing a therapist, and he was have you ever thought about not drinking? And I was like, No.
Yeah.
Why would you? That's all I have. Like, that's my entire personality. Like, I have to drink.
Who would I be without alcohol?
Literally, yes. Yeah. So I was like, no, like, that's not my issue. My issue is that I'm depressed. Like, my issue is not that I drink, you know? And he's like, well, why don't you just try not to drink today when you go home? And I was like, well, that's not happening. Like, my girlfriend's picking me up from here. We're going to happy hour. Like, no, you know?
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, before next time I see you, I would like you to go to 2 AA meetings. And I was like, AA, like, but when he said that, I had this weird feeling of like being found out and also relief. Like, oh, finally someone sees what I secretly know, you know?
So you knew.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
So I went to my first AA meeting and I like, before I even sat in the chair, I was just like sobbing and they're all like, you should come back. So you're like, keep coming back. You know, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. And so I asked my shrink, I'm like, but I can like smoke weed, like while I'm getting sober, like, cause I just bought a bag. Like that's when you like still bought bags like on the street, you know? And he's like, no. And I was like, all right. So I did 30 days sober and then I kept going. I smoke weed now, but I was like very straight edge for like 7 years.
So you did 30 days sober.
So I did 30 days sober and then I kept going because
no slips. Have you ever slipped?
Well, I relapsed like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I drank for like 3 months. But I don't drink any. I got sober again, but now I've been smoking weed for like about a year. But weed is like,
I don't think I can't count weed as anything really.
Yeah.
Only because I know so many people that do it and are sober, and the thing that made them fucked up doesn't show up with weed.
Exactly. Like I turn into like I'm Irish Italian. Like I turn into like I'm like, let me tell you something about you that you don't know. You know, like so that doesn't it like chill. It makes me happy and present and like takes the edge. It's been working.
It just makes me do this.
Yeah.